We also take a very intense interest in freedom of press. We've been reporting the state of global press freedom since 1980 through an annual report on the issue. Our most recent report was issued this year. It was entitled Freedom of the Press 2014, a global survey of media independence, and it covers the previous calendar year, 2013. But the report notes a number of troubling trends, and the biggest trend is the global press freedom fell to its lowest level in over a decade last year. What this means is that a small minority of the world's citizens live in countries where public and political news is enough. The safety of journalists, the state inclusion of media affairs is minimal, and the press is not subject to onerous legal or economic pressures. Now, practically speaking, from our point of view, the press means print journalism, broadcast journalism, and professional law. One level down touches on citizens to report on micro and macro level, national news, local news, international news. It also includes those who use the news to express their views and opinions, whether on Twitter or other such outlets. And of course, as we all know, Twitter, certainly in the United States, but also elsewhere, has become a major news gathering and news dissemination tool. As we look at these trends, the downgrading of freedom of the press worldwide, Freedom House now reports does not let the United States off the hook. Last year, we downgraded the U.S. rating of freedom of the press, primarily because by the government doing freedom reporting on national security issues. Only 14% of the world's population enjoys the free press. In the Middle East and North Africa, by our rankings, it's only 2% of the population. Over press and political freedom in the world straight up was seriously set back last year after a major effect on freedom of the press in Egypt and Jordan. These press findings are clearly linked to the decline of democracy overall in the last several years. Another trend that Freedom House has documented. This is no coincidence. There is a very clear connection with open access to information and democracy. In fact, they reinforce each other. Let me talk about several reasons why. First, a free press fosters government accountability. Government is not accountable, it's totally corruption. There's a marked connection between corruption and the question of rights, basic building block of democracy. The Freedom House Senior Legal Affairs Advisor wrote last year, widespread corruption and economic problems often go hand in hand with mass human rights issues and authoritarian governments. The two are mutually reinforcing. Longer public rights such as open consent, clean, power by force, and use to rewarding those who carry out or cover up these crimes. Second, free media enables ordinary citizens to scrutinize government actions for themselves. Social media, of course, are very important for organizing people for the media and over through the law. And the website we are all satisfied was an important catalyst for political dissent. This trend is a major trend in the last 10 years in this part of the world. It represents a trend that is very difficult to stand. Third, free speech news and information that free media can foster to provide a substantial public debate on concern. From the local level, the politics matter greatly to how ordinary people live their lives, to the national level, where issues like economic policy, security research, often don't at the level of discussion among the general public needed to make inclusive, sound, and defensible decisions. Now, these benefits for government, not only the free and informed press. Free media, first of all, can help leaders and politicians connect with constituents, understand their concerns, and craft policies to deal with their problems. It also provides a platform for those politicians who do not necessarily agree with the country's leadership to get their message out and advocate for change. And free media also helps legitimize elections. To permit criticism, permit dissent, simply permit people freedom of expression. It's a signifier of modernity that affects not only the attitudes of countries' own citizens towards the government leaders, but it affects the impressions of foreign governments and international investors as well. Finally, I think this is a critical point. A free press, as a Harvard University UNESCO study noted some years ago, does matter for a range of indicators of good governance, and it's integral to the processes of democratization. Now, this extends well beyond democratization to other issues that are behind democratization, such as human and economic development. Former World Bank President James Wolfenson once said, and I quote, "A free press is not a luxury. A free press is the absolute core of equitable development. Because if you cannot enfranchise poor people, if they do not have the right to free expression, if there is no searchlight on corruption and inequitable practices, you cannot build a public consensus to bring about change." So, given this range of effects on the political fabric of countries, from encouraging systematic scrutiny of governments to promoting accountability of governments to citizens, it's no wonder that so many governments around the world are now engaged in sophisticated and sometimes ferocious attempts to suppress free media, which threaten existing profitable political and economic orders. Now, there are many tactics that governments employ, but they are remarkably consistent over quite a range of countries and regions. Let me highlight a few here now to draw on how we characterize them in our Freedom of the Press report. First tactic I'd like to highlight here is attacking the messenger. Okay, journalists' ability to cover breaking news came under particular threat in 2018 as those who attempted to report on protest movements in a number of key countries faced physical harassment, sometimes spontaneous, but also targeted attacks designed to prevent them from reporting news. Now, we've seen this in Ukraine, but also in Turkey, Jordan, in Egypt, Latin America, and elsewhere. Now, it's true that the boundaries today have blurred between accredited journalists, citizen journalists, and civic activists. But as we noted in our report, direct targeting of those who were engaged in covering protests during the year was a key factor in media freedom declines in many countries. Second, targeting foreign media. In difficult and closed media environments, foreign media play a key role in covering sensitive stories and spreading the word to the global audience and getting the global audience engaged in a discussion, sometimes a solution of these problems. In 2013, that freedom was rolled back. Authoritarian states like Russia and China refused to reveal or threatened all pieces of prominent reporters. This became a major issue, for example, President Obama's visit to China just this week, where the Nile the New York Times reporter was brought up in the press conference with the Chinese premier. And meanwhile, if you look at Egypt, the Egyptian government has started several branches of the federally-based outlet Al Jazeera, harassing and detaining a number of journalists and support staff at year's end. 5 of these remain in custody, 3 have been sentenced to multi-year jail terms for affecting terrorism. Third, clamping down on new media. Online social networks, microblogs, mobile telephones, which is a really important tool, and a journalistic tool, and other information communications technologies have become essential to spread independent news and information. Particularly in environments where the traditional media are under tighter state control. Repressive regimes, therefore, have expanded their efforts to control the wide open sphere. I mean, in Jordan, for example, expanded existing laws to control online content. Websites have been censored, content has been blocked. Repression in the sphere has not been confined to journalists either. Saudi Arabia has been considering a law to require Twitter users ID information to be disclosed to the government. According to the Committee to Protect Journalists, almost half of the journalists jailed worldwide have been jailed for working for online outlets. And then finally, control and content ownership. Economic factors can also play a key role in restricting media independence and diversity. But ownership of media media outlets change, editorial content changed too. Reporters and editors have been fired worldwide for views that disagree with governments. In Turkey, dozens of journalists were forced from their jobs apparently because of coverage of sensitive issues such as negotiations between the government and the Kurdistan Workers' Party, against hard protests or official corruption scandals. And I'd also like to mention one other issue that really has an important chilling effect on freedom of the press. This is the expanding range of criminalized speech. The expansion of anti-terrorism laws in the Middle East and North Africa, which typically contain broad and vague language on what constitutes terrorism, including certain kinds of speech criticizing government ministries, for example, is one example. Laws criminalizing criticism of the head of state, religion, certain sectors of government is another. In Egypt, the military is ramping up attacks on those who support the Muslim Brotherhood or those who support the Muslim Brotherhood. As the three Al Jazeera journalists that I mentioned learned or regret, there's now talk of a law essentially prohibiting the police getting information on the military, which probably would lose from the military's perspective. It controls about 40% of the Egyptian state economy. And there is the nexus between corruption and repression once again. So in short, many countries in the Middle East and North Africa, and indeed around the world, are mounting a full attack on freedom of the press. Who makes decisions, who is in power, are really at stake. In the wake of the Arab Spring uprisings and protests, we've seen both a renaissance of the press in several countries and a determined attempt to push back on this renaissance. This is one of the number of fronts on which the battle for democracy is being waged. To sum up, good governance, democracy, whether it's constitutional or a fully elected economy, cannot exist without a free press. In other words, it's not possible to have democracy with a censored, controlled, or heavily managed press, which cannot speak on all issues, and cannot have free access to government information, including occasionally the things that are considered secret. It's as true in the West as it is true here or in any other part of the world. A real democracy must have laws to protect the press, rather than regulate or restrict its actions. That's to be determined by the democratic government's commitment to freedom and media and its own commitment to equality or transition to democracy.